Hello once again. Welcome back to the Crypto Delicious channel and the second episode of my Bitcoin Musings series. And this one's going to be on the topic of cryptocurrency wallets, hence the subtitle, What's in Your Wallet? You might be familiar with that phrase. That was a slogan that was used a few years ago in some advertising. But anyway, yeah, this will be about cryptocurrency wallets and hopefully answer some basic questions that people have about wallets. So let's start. So if you saw my first video, then near the end of it, I discussed a few introductory things about crypto wallets. And one of the key things is that the name or the term wallet is actually kind of an unfortunate name because it's not a wallet like we think of a wallet where we put cash in the wallet and take cash out. It's actually something that contains our private keys. So the private key that you own, for which anyone, so if this private key was to get out into the public, anyone that had the private key would be able to access your crypto, right? So the private key must be private. So as it says here, the crypto wallet contains your private keys needed to access your crypto, which exists on the blockchain. So when you think of your Bitcoin, the Bitcoin is always on the blockchain, but the way to access it is by using the private key. So the next question then is, where does this private key come from? Well, that's where the wallet comes in. The wallet is what contains the private key and also generates the private key in many cases. We'll talk a bit more about that later. But yeah, like I said before, the wallet's a bad name, but the horse left the barn on that a long time ago. So there's so many wallets. You have hot wallet, cold wallets, desktop, mobile, paper, hardware. We're going to get into that. So once again, not your keys, not your crypto, right? You can't emphasize this enough. You have to keep your private key or private keys safe. So the wallet, which you can think of as a keychain because it contains the private keys, the wallet is so important. You might see wallets advertised in different ways. Some wallets are online wallets, and they were quite popular a little while ago, but it's generally accepted now you should not use any kind of online wallet. If you sign up for an exchange account like Coinbase, there's a whole bunch of them. There's Coinbase, Kraken, so many different exchanges, and each one of them, they'll have a wallet that you need in order to fund your account. So to a certain extent, an online wallet is a necessary thing, but it should just be temporary. Once you have the funds transferred or converted into some kind of crypto, then it's imperative that you get that crypto off of the exchange and into your own wallet. So just to drive that point home is the example of Mt. Gox. A few years ago, lots of people that were early into the crypto space, they were sending their money to Mt. Gox, and then Mt. Gox would convert their cash into Bitcoin. Everyone was happy, except for many people, they left the Bitcoin on Mt. Gox, and one day Mt. Gox disappeared. And along with Mt. Gox disappearing, all the Bitcoin that was left on the exchange disappeared along with it. And there's still, we're years later after that happened, and there's still people that are hoping to get their Bitcoin back, but a lot of people are out in the cold on that one. So none of us want to be in that situation. We all have to use exchanges to a certain extent, but it should just be a quick thing where we purchase our crypto and then get the crypto off of it and into a non-custodial wallet, right? That's what we're going to be talking about more. Non-custodial wallet. So it's a wallet that you and only you control. That's why we call it non-custodial. We were just talking about exchange wallets. An exchange wallet would be a custodial wallet because the exchange is the custodian of your fund, of your Bitcoin or whatever crypto. But you don't want that to be an ongoing thing. Maybe you would have some small amounts on there, but the bulk of what you have, that should be in some sort of wallet that you control, a non-custodial wallet. So we're going to talk about a few examples. And you'll see in parentheses, I've got the names of different products that are out there. A lot of them are free. All the software and paper wallets, those are basically free to use. So on the desktop, you have Exodus. There's another one called Atom, actually, which I'm going to show in a little while. Mobile wallets, those are very popular. So many different choices there. Paper wallets, you might have heard of paper wallets. And there I say it's a DIY approach. You do it yourself. And we'll demonstrate that in a while. But paper wallet, many people feel very strongly that paper wallets are the best solution for cold storage. But they're for very advanced users. So we'll talk more about that too. Hardware wallets like Ledger or Trezor, those are actual electronic devices that contain the keys within them. They're very secure, and that's the recommended way for large amounts of crypto. And then you have another type of hardware wallet that's not electronic, and we'll introduce that one as well. That's the Ballet crypto wallet. So let's talk a little bit more about the private key and how it's created, because this is kind of a fundamental point that you need to understand. I know this is something that I was wondering when I was first learning about how crypto works, because we're so used to the idea of someone telling us what the account number should be. So like, for example, you go to your bank and you open up a bank account and the bank tells you what your account number is. And that works very well because it's a central type of paradigm, centralized paradigm. The crypto world is the opposite. It's decentralized. So you determine what your account number is. Or I'm using the term account number interchangeably just to try and get this understanding clear for the private key. Just for the purpose of this understanding, a private key, you can think of it like an account number. So when it comes to crypto, you create your own account number on your computer, right? So that's why I say here it's fundamental to understanding how a wallet or a keychain works with the blockchain, right? Because at the end of the day, a private key is just the result of a randomly generated number. You create the key and tell others, not the other way around. So once again, the private key is just a result of a randomly generated number. Now, when you first think about that, you might wonder, well, if I'm creating some random key, how do I know that someone else on the other side of the world is not going to generate the exact same random key that I'm generating? And the short answer to that is, don't worry, there's no danger of that. The full answer is a lot more complicated, and perhaps that'll be the topic of a separate video in the future. Just to keep things simple, we're just going to assume that that's not possible, and you create your own private key, and that's what is going to be used. So connected to that is this idea of the paper wallet. And the paper wallet, you notice I say advanced users only. It's conceptually kind of maybe the simplest and yet not simplest way of creating a crypto wallet. And the reason for that is it's easy to create one. It's not always so easy to use one, and perhaps not as safe either. So, but it's very nice to just talk about it for a little bit because it's very straightforward. When you create a paper wallet, you're generating a private key, and as a result of that, there's a public key or a public address that will also be listed, And that's all you needed, right? But when it comes down to it, when you're issuing or doing a transaction on the blockchain, you need the private key and the public key, or the public address. And it's all generated offline. So what we mean by that is you can create a paper wallet completely offline. So you disconnect, and actually that's the recommended way. That's the way that it should be done. So you unplug your computer from the internet, you surround it with tin foil, make sure that there's no cameras anywhere around, the complete paranoid, total offline solution, totally off the grid. And you generate this paper wallet. You generate your private key. And that works. You have a private key, you have a public address that you can tell people, and that's it. And you are assured that no one else knows this private key, assuming that you're keeping that information safe, of course. The only danger to that, of course, is you lose the wallet and you lose your Bitcoin. It's as simple as that. So once you have the paper wallet, it's absolutely imperative that you keep it safe. You'll notice here I have a note here saying care needed when withdrawing, or also known as sweeping the wallet. So if you load the wallet with a paper wallet with, let's say you load it up with half a Bitcoin, and later on you try to just take out 0.25 of that, you have to be very careful. You have to know what you're doing. So once again, this is why it says advanced users only. But for the purposes of this discussion, this video about wallets and the different type of wallets, it's interesting to see how this works. Okay, so just following on from that, here's a very good warning. Only think about using paper wallets after you've been using crypto for a while, not for beginners. And you'll see I've inserted here a screenshot of a tweet from Jameson Lopp. He's a very well-respected, very knowledgeable guy in the crypto space. And it just so happens that earlier today, this is the same day that I'm making this video, he tweeted out this message about how the level of skill required to safely generate a paper wallet and safely spend from a paper wallet puts it firmly in advanced user territory. Newbies should use hardware wallets. And you can see the reason he's put this out here is because there's a tweet or a posting on Reddit from someone who unfortunately fell victim to a bad paper wallet. When I say bad paper wallet, what happened here is he went to a website to generate a paper wallet, and he didn't realize that the software was actually a phishing scam, right? So he created this paper wallet. He thought it was private, but it wasn't. He put some crypto on there, and of course, the people that were behind the phishing scam very quickly took that crypto out. So again, this is for advanced users. This is for educational purposes. But if you're thinking of using a paper wallet, you have to be very careful. Okay, so let's look at an example of how a paper wallet is generated. Okay, we have our Bitcoin wallet generator here. Okay, so notice that there's this countdown over here, and it's counting down as I move the mouse. So what I'm doing is I'm moving the mouse around, and that is simulating the random entropy, or the random data that's needed in order to generate the private key. So the faster I move the mouse around, the faster it will count down. And pretty soon, here we are. We see the wallet that's been generated. So notice it says here, public key is this. This is the Bitcoin address. Private key, the important piece of information that must be kept private, is this. So the idea being that you would print this out, and you would have a physical piece of paper that you've printed this image onto. And on the left-hand side here is your public address. On the right-hand side is the private key, which must remain private. So they've set this up so that you can fold it and keep it hidden. On the right-hand side, you would fold up this side a couple of times so that this private key is not visible, and you would only unfold it when you needed to spend whatever Bitcoin was associated with this public address. So here's just a demonstration of how you generate a paper wallet. So I'm not recommending that you do this. Once again, this is for advanced users, but this is very good for educational purposes because it shows you what all wallets are doing. Doesn't matter what kind of wallet, there's a private key, this is the public key, and then there's a private key. Notice there's a checkbox here that says BIP38 encrypt. So there's different ways of generating paper wallets, and that's something that we'll talk a little bit more later. But what you see here is the basic straightforward way of generating a paper wallet. You have a public key and a private key. Okay, let's go back to our presentation. So the next step, we finished talking about our paper wallet generation. Next step here is desktop wallets. So there's lots of different software implementations of desktop wallets. Not as many as mobile, but there's quite a few for desktops as well. And it doesn't matter what operating system you have, it could be Windows, Mac, Linux. And the idea of each one is they generate a private key and a public key. So the public key corresponds to the private key, of course. So just as we generated a private key for the paper wallet a moment ago, likewise, this software is generating a private key, but it's doing it internally. You don't see it doing that. You don't have to move the mouse around, and you're not actually seeing how it's generating the private key, but it is. So it's very user-friendly. Once you install it and set it up, it's very easy to use. The only thing is, of course, if your computer crashes, your computer gets stolen, whatever, you don't have access to that software installation anymore, you need to know how to recover your funds, right? So that's the idea of a recovery phrase. So most of these wallets, when you set them up, you'll be prompted to write down 12, or some of them ask you to write down 24 words. And those words are all that's needed to completely restore your wallet. That's something that is hard to believe at first. I know when I first heard about this, I couldn't figure it out. Like, how can I restore my wallet just by entering 12 words? The thing to understand here is these 12 words are not just any 12 words. Each one of the words is one of 2,048 possible words. So there's a defined dictionary of words that these words can be made up of. It can't just be some random make-believe word that anyone just thought of themselves. It's an established standard. So each word is one of 2,048 predefined words. So you can imagine if you have 12 of them, and each one of them has 2,048 possibilities, that's an astronomically huge number of possible combinations. So you can be sure that these 12 words cover any situation you have to restore your wallet, and it's an industry standard. So what that means is you can have an Exodus wallet and write down the 12 words, and then you can install another wallet like the Atom wallet if you need to, and those same 12 words could restore your crypto, whatever you have. It's a standard that's used across all of these wallets. Okay, so you install the software, and then once you have it installed, you use it to send or receive. At first, when you first set up a desktop wallet, it's empty. So there's nothing to send. You have to receive it first before you can send it. So we'll see if we can show an example of this. Okay. Let's see if I can show this. So what you see here is the Atom wallet. I've already installed it. I've already written down the 12 words. So I have everything right here. I don't want to waste too much time on that. I just wanted to show you, here's a wallet, and you notice everything says 0. But the idea, of course, is that you want to send some crypto to it. So let's say you've purchased some crypto on an exchange like Coinbase, and you want to get it off of there, which is what you should do, and send it to your own wallet that you control, such as this one, the Atom wallet. To do that, you need to receive it. So I clicked on the receive button, and here is the address, 18TY, etc., ends in L4Y, right? So you would copy this to your clipboard, and then you would go to your Coinbase account online, and you would send your crypto to this address. And then once you did that, after a few minutes, you would all of a sudden see that your Bitcoin has been received by your wallet. That's the idea there. So this is just something I installed. I don't actually use this. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes, so please don't try to use these addresses because there's nothing associated with them. So you have the desktop wallets, now hardware wallets. These are physical electronic devices that generate private keys internally, and the private keys never leave that device. So these are an excellent, very secure way to store crypto. This is what everyone recommends. Well, I would say 99% of knowledgeable people would recommend hardware wallets. And you have to pay for them, of course. They're a physical device, and there's a lot of research and expense that goes into developing these devices. So you have to purchase them. They cost roughly $80, give or take, and well, or even less. It depends if you're talking Australian dollars or American dollars. But yeah, examples: Trezor, Ledger. Mobile wallets, similar to the desktop wallets, except on a mobile device. So these are very popular. They're convenient to use because you just have them on your mobile phone or on a tablet or whatever. The phone is popular because it takes advantage of features like fingerprint recognition, face recognition, which I suppose a tablet could do as well. But most people don't carry their tablets around every day, whereas if you have your mobile phone with you, then you could use it in everyday life. Which is not so common maybe at the moment, but in the future, maybe not that distant a future, people will be doing this more and more. So you see someone that you want to exchange some crypto with, you both have your phones, each one shows each other the crypto or the QR code associated with their address, and they can send each other whatever crypto they want to carry out whatever transaction they need to. And lots of choices. Coinbase has their own version of it. It's something you could find on the App Store. It doesn't matter if it's Android or iOS, and you could install the Coinbase one. Binance has one, the Trust Wallet. Exodus, they have one too. There's lots of them. But again, please do your own research. I'm just a guy on the internet. Another option, non-electronic hardware wallet. Now this is an interesting option because this is one where you don't have to be so familiar with technology. There's still a lot of people out there that simply don't want to use a computer, or they're scared of the idea of installing software on their own because they might get hacked. They keep hearing these horror stories of people getting hacked and having their crypto being stolen, so they just don't even want to go down that road. So there's another choice here, a non-electronic hardware wallet. And a company called Ballet Crypto has developed this. You can go to balletcrypto.com. It's a physical, non-electronic multi-currency wallet. Stainless steel card, so that makes it waterproof. It's almost indestructible. It's, within reason. And you'd have to be careful, of course, that you didn't actually expose it to fire. But other than that, it's pretty sturdy, right? So you have this stainless steel card. It already has the private key along with a passphrase, which has been developed securely so that the private key and the passphrase never meet until it's in your hand. So when people see it, they might say, well, it's just a paper wallet and someone's created a paper wallet and they're trying to sell it to you. It's actually not as simple as that. There's a lot of thought that's gone into it to make sure that it's something safe to use. And the people behind the company are reputable. They've already, the key person, his name is Bobby Lee. He's done something like this in the past, and they were never hacked. He's already a Bitcoin millionaire. He doesn't need to steal people's $50 or $100 of random Bitcoin that they put onto these wallets. So this is something which is easy to use. You don't really have to think about it. And it would be something that could be used very easily. Now, this idea of a passphrase encoded paper wallet, to do that on your own is something that takes advanced knowledge. You know, I was saying a few moments ago about paper wallets, that's for advanced users, right? To actually create it yourself. However, if it's already been done for you, which is what Ballet Crypto has done, then it makes it very easy to use. It's something which is, there's an app associated with it. So it's a great solution for beginners just getting into crypto. I think if you listen to some of the videos that Bobby Lee has done, he describes it as a gateway drug into crypto. So the idea, of course, is some people that are already familiar with it, they get it, they load it up with a little bit, and they give it to their mother or father or whoever else, someone that perhaps isn't as comfortable with using computers. And they haven't had to install any software, they haven't had to do anything complicated, but now they have their own Bitcoin address and they have their own quantity of Bitcoin. There's also another level of this, which is called the Pro series, and you can actually have a custom passphrase. But again, that's something more advanced. Here's an image of the basic Ballet crypto card. So this BIP38 open standard is what makes these products possible and safe to use. And this is what the card looks like. Stainless steel, and it has a scratch off portion on the front of it with a verification code and the wallet passphrase scratch off. And if you search on YouTube, you'll see demonstrations of this, but definitely a nice product. So, okay, we'll wrap this up. It's difficult to keep these videos under 20 minutes, so I'm going to have to work on that in the future. But as you can see, there's lots of choices when it comes to crypto wallets. The mobile wallets are the easiest, beginner friendly. Desktop wallets, good for small amounts. Mobile wallets, of course, would be for small amounts. Less convenient than mobile, the desktop wallets, but both are easy to use. Hardware wallets, that's the recommended way for larger amounts. And something which is nice for people to use who are not technologically inclined, the non-electronic Ballet wallet. So once again, in conclusion, again, please do your own due diligence. I'm just a guy on the internet. Okay, so thanks very much. Thanks for watching, listening. I hope it's been useful. I hope that it's made sense. Please leave comments below. Please check out Ballet Crypto. You'll see a link in the description of this video. Please click on it, take a look at the company, see if it's something that might be good for you. And please follow me on Twitter, Crypto Delicious. Thanks very much, and later.